Yesterday, a tragedy took place in America. Charlie Kirk was assassinated while giving a speech at Utah Valley University. A sniper shot him from about 200 yards away. Unfortunately, he lost his life the same day. Up to now, the murderer has not been discovered. But police have discovered his footprint and his gun. Charlie Kirk was a well-known conservative. 30 years old, at the age of 18, he founded the organization Turning Point USA, and later he became famous for his speech and podcast. When he was murdered, all of America was shocked because he was a famous supporter of President Trump. He had helped Trump win the election, and many people mourned his death by gun violence. However, as a well-known conservative, he had made many statements which were criticized as extremist, racist, supportive of gun violence, and discriminatory toward women and black people. Now, let's take a look at what he had said. He said that in Leviticus 18:22, if a man had sexual relations with another man, God would stone him. But in fact, he made a mistake. Let's take a look at what the real Bible actually says.
Is in Leviticus 18 is that thou shalt lay with another man shall be stoned to death. Just saying. So, Miss Rachel, you quote Leviticus 19, love your neighbor as yourself. The chapter before affirms God's perfect law when it comes to sexual matters.
On the day he was at Utah Valley University, he said he wished to release the Epstein files in order to ensure transparency in America.
We as the American people deserve to have every Epstein file released with no redactions whatsoever, period.
Right.
And so yesterday, I don't want to comment because a lot of these people are my friends, but they got to make it right. And we, the American people, ran on transparency. We deserve to see the entire client list.
Yeah.
Every document the government has regarding the Epstein files, we, the American people, should have on an easy to access website immediately in a very, very quick fashion. I'm pushing for that both privately and publicly, just so you know.
Talking about the attacker on Nancy Pelosi's husband, he said the attacker should not stay in jail. He even said he hoped someone should bail him out so they could ask him questions. This is very controversial because it seems like he's supposed freeing a violent criminal.
And why is he still in jail? Why has he not been bailed out? By the way, if some amazing patriot out there in San Francisco or the Bay Area wants to really be a midterm hero, someone should go and bail this guy out. I bet his bail's like $30,000 or $40,000. Bail him out and then go ask him some questions.
About Ukraine and Zelensky, he said, the war is a grinder and unlikely to succeed. He also criticized Zelensky for not being polite when he entered the White House.
I won't nitpick too much, but I will say, if you do go into the Oval Office, you should wear a suit and tie. That's my own personal perspective. I understand his country's at war. That's just a little bit of a nitpicking, I'll be honest. I think that if you go into the sacred, and I've had the honor to go in the Oval Office a couple times, I think you should dress up in a suit and tie. I think it's just a basic common courtesy. But that's not the bigger issue. The bigger issue is that Zelensky in that meeting, we believe, and I encourage you to watch all 40 minutes. You have, good. It started pretty tepid and then it heated up. And outside of Vice President Vance's back and forth on did you say thank you, there was this kind of insistence on Zelensky saying, no, we really don't want peace. We really don't, like, the idea of peace was almost a non-negotiable.
I mean, I think he views it, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, that's fine, please.
I feel like he views it as a surrender, and I think that's a fair position for him to take.
Yeah, well, so he has a choice. And America then has a choice. So Zelensky can keep on fighting. Here's some facts. The average age of a Ukrainian military member is 43 years old. They have basically destroyed the young men of their country. There's hundreds of thousands of young men that have died, millions that have fled their nation. The average age is 43. So they're doing conscripts of people in their late 40s and early 50s to go to the front lines. It's a meat grinder. So he can keep that going, but for what? to win back some land that you may or may not win.
About black people, he said, about black people, he said they were worse off than before.
It shows they were actually better in the 1940s. It was bad, it was evil, but what happened? Something changed. They committed less crimes.
Maybe they were afraid. I mean, 4,000 black men, women, and children were killed in violent lynch mobs.
That's your explanation, but I guess
racial terror permeated American culture for hundreds of years.
Black America is worse than it has been
that affected
in the last 80 years.
The generational psyche of an entire group of people?
No, I'm sure it did. I'm not discounting that. I'm just...
He's a true man. He said in order to uphold the Second Amendment, the gun deaths every year are a necessary cost, and it is worthy. He lived out his convictions.
So we need to be very clear that you're not going to get gun deaths to zero. It will not happen. Right. You can significantly reduce them through having more fathers in the home, yes, by having more armed guards in front of schools. We should have an honest and clear reductionist view of gun violence, but we should not have a utopian one. You will never live in a society when you have an armed citizenry and you won't have a single gun death. That is nonsense. It's drivel. Wow. But I think it's worth it. I think it's worth to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year so that we can have the Second Amendment to protect our other God-given rights. That is a prudent deal. It is rational. Nobody talks like this. They live in a complete alternate universe.
He believed empathy brings damage, so please smile like him.
You know, in the old days, boom, firing squad. No, it's true. Boom, gun, bang, bing, bong. When we were strong, bing, and it goes quickly, right? It's called, you're dead.
He loves his family, his wife, and his kids. He said the best place is home.
And I can tell you I'm super blessed. I have the best wife in the world. We have an amazing life. Building a family is the coolest thing ever. And my prayer for all of you is that you one day can do that.
That's so cute.
It's honestly the most joyful thing. And I've had some pretty amazing experiences. I've been very, very blessed. Very lucky, you could say, but very blessed is the word I would use. And the greatest joy I've ever had is coming home to my little daughter running up to my leg. There's nothing that even comes close to it. Not flying on Air Force One, not meeting with presidents. That's all, that pales in comparison to your little girl coming up and squeezing your leg.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed His
Gun, bang, bing, bong. When we were strong, bing, and it goes quickly, right? It's called, you're dead.
Okay, finally, I hope there are no more assassinations in later. I hope we can achieve peace through dialogue. I believe angels have delivered him to heavens. I believe the USA will be greater forever.